Hey guys, Crazypostman here. Well, I am editor Crazypostman from the future. About a week ago, I filmed this video, and I know a lot more now than I knew then. I already did the first video that showed Tara doing this backyard here, and I was going to show setting up a zone in my front yard and connecting them with a channel. So as the software is right now, that is not ready. I'm told it's coming in September. So I didn't know that at the time. I thought I was gonna get in the front yard and find out a way to do it. But it turns out the only thing I could do was a spot mow. And it doesn't seem like Terramow saves the map from a spot mow. Now, it says it's saving the map when it's done and it returns to its park point, but after I've done this 3 or 4 times now, the map is nowhere to be found. So it doesn't save it to the app. Does it save it to Terramow's cloud? I'm not sure where it goes or why it's saying it's saving. But for right now, you can't manually add a second area to your first zone and connect them manually with a channel. Like I said, that is coming in September. I didn't know that at the time of filming this video, so keep that in mind while I'm struggling trying to figure things out. But I still think this video could be useful because in this first day, you see me setting up no-go zones and how that works. And in the second day of filming, I tried a virtual boundary. So let's go ahead and roll the footage and you can watch me be completely confused and not understand why I can't figure it out. We still have to set up the no-go zone before we start planning, so I'm gonna park Tara over here in the shade. We just gotta find some way to hammer these no-go zones into the ground and get this mapped. I wonder if we have to cover the whole opening or if it's a wide opening, if just putting a piece in the middle. Probably didn't need to use 3 of the stakes. 2 on the outside would have probably been enough. There's more than a lawnmower width of gap over there. I'll show you all in a second. I don't know if I should have went 4 wide maybe right there. We'll see if that works. I'll show you all what I did real quick. So there is the first one. Here is the second one. And like I said, there's a little bit of a gap over there. We'll see if it tries to escape. And then here is the long grass border here. So here's where I really start getting confused. How do I build a new map? Like I said earlier, what I'm trying to do right now is not currently possible in this current software. But I didn't know this at the time. This was before I asked that question on Facebook. So I'm in here in this app trying to figure out how to get it to possibly mow in standard mode, but from my front yard. Because when I click, I want to start mapping. It's like you got to start mapping from the charging base. Except there's no charging base in my front yard. The charging base is in my backyard. So that's where I just really start getting confused here. Well, I'm just going to do the same thing that I did the first time and say create a map with this button down here. I could always read the instructions, but that's no fun. Oh, we have to start from the station. So I guess we'll have to carry our guy back home. And that's not a problem because it's a lot lighter than some others.
Create map. Ah, see, there it is.
So I thought I finally found it, but then I get another message that pops up that says there needs to be a new base station. So I guess I found the multi-base area setup options.
New base station. How do I create a front yard map? Maybe I can do it as a spot and then connect them later. We'll try that.
So obviously future me knows the answer to this now. The spot mode did work,
Back to the front yard.
but it just did not save the map when it was done. Me putting out these no-go barriers didn't really do anything. Of course, it worked at the time, but it didn't save the map, so I would have to put out those no-go barriers every single time on a spot mow.
Maybe.
If I wanted it to not cross that zone.
We're just going to go ahead and hit the play button here and see what happens.
One piece of useful information I've found out about spot mows since this mow and other spot mows that I've done since then, whatever direction Terra is facing when you tell it to start is the direction it's going to make the rows. So you can see this one's going to be a little bit diagonal.
Well, we're just going to do a spot mode and see what happens. Maybe I can connect it later. No station detected. Start in spot mode. No-go zone settings won't apply. It seems it's going to do a diagonal cut here. Of course, it doesn't know what direction diagonal is because I just carried it over here. Alright, well, I'm going to put this in time lapse and we'll see how it goes. And when it gets done, we'll see what I can do with this map it makes. Alright, I join you back here in real time. It's almost done with the diagonals in this direction. You can see when it met the tree here that it left a little space over there. I'm sure it's going to go back and get it. But that's what I really like about this app is you can see the tree on the app. Alright, it looks like it's coming in for an edge mow. And it is right on the edge of the pavement. That is awesome. It does great at deciding what is mowable and what is not mowable.
Let me go ahead and save some of your time. I was blabbing on for about 4 minutes here. You can see Terramow is just finishing out this corner, and it does recognize that no-go zone. It goes up to it and turns around without touching it.
It is getting all up in that corner, though. Oh, we're doing an edge pass. So it's on a pretty good angle right here. It's kind of having to drive sideways to go straight, if you can see that, but it's doing it. Oh, it's cut. Is it going to cut this piece it missed earlier? It is. All right, the shadow was not why it stopped. Now it's cutting these diagonals that it missed earlier because of the tree. I'm going to try to stay behind it and out of its... Right as I said that, it turned around and looked at me. I don't know how people walking around it affects its mowing. Or it's mapping anyway. So it's going to go down here and it's going to try to turn around on that hill. it does a pretty good job cutting. I have some nasty crabgrass that I am going to take care of here very shortly. I'm going to dig these little crabgrasses up, so you'll probably see little patches of dirt in my yard next time I'm here in the front yard. You know what? It really does a good job at deciding where to drive. I wonder if it'll go around the tree and get close to it. I mean, it got pretty close to it already. But there is like maybe 1 or 2 pieces of grass it missed. It's deciding what it's gonna do. Looks like it's gonna go back down here and finish its edge mow now. If you remember my other lubas, they make this donut hole here in the corner, and also that donut hole over there. Terra did spin out just a little bit going up this hill, but it's really rough right there. And it's kind of funny that it's marked this little dirt patch where Luba's donut hole was as a no-go zone. Or it just kind of, not a no-go zone, but it went around it. Oh look, it's going around the tree. Perfect. Perfect. Look at that. Look at that. And now it seems it just needs to go over there and finish that corner. It is turning around at the proper place over here. I'm very curious if it's going to try to escape through that hole right there. Because there is a bit of space between the tree and that no-go zone marker I did. I'm pretty sure it can't fit through that hole. Maybe. But that one's quite a bit bigger. We'll see what it does. Okay, it didn't go through that skinny hole. Good, it didn't go through there. Perfect. Terra completed entire mowing area. And I bet it's going to come up here and stop where I started it at. Oh, it says that, returning to start position. Okay, what's going to happen? Stand by.
I didn't notice at the time, but look, it says saving map.
What can we do here? What's map management? I could add a virtual wall or a no-go zone. Can I go home? Can't go home. Okay, I'm controlling it manually. I guess we'll go to the backyard. there doesn't seem to be a way for me to build a connection. So this was a true spot mow. I don't seem to be able to save it to my maps. We'll see what happens. Let's see if I can tell it to go home, if it recognizes it's in his yard. Not sure how to get it out of spot mode. Doesn't seem I can figure out how to get it out of spot mode.
Standard spot and multi-base mode doesn't seem like you can select it at the top. You kind of just gotta let it do what it's gonna do automatically.
I guess I will just drive it back to the base.
When you plug it back into the charger, it does seem to go into standard mode again.
Now it's back in standard mode. Interesting.
So I got Tara out here just doing a spot mow, and I've learned a few things, it seems. So when you set it down, if you like set it on the corner of your property and face it the direction you want it to make the stripes, that's the direction it seems to go. Whatever way it's facing when you do the spot mow is the direction it seems to make the stripes. So I started it way over there against the driveway, and it's working its way this way. It's gonna be interesting. Over here, from the other side of this tree to her driveway, is not my property. I don't have the barriers out. It will just keep mowing all the way to the driveway, but I'm wondering if I can stop it with a virtual barrier when it gets over closer to that area, because it is mapping as it goes along. The map is updating to about where it's at, maybe a little bit to the right of where it's at. So maybe when it does the last strip over there, I can pause it and then put in a virtual boundary, and then it will know that's the end, and it will do the final border cut. Because what I thought I might have to do, I'm sure she wouldn't mind, but I don't want to mow over there. So what I thought to do was just hit the stop button when it gets close, and then turn on the manual mow function and just take it around the border manually with my phone as a controller. But maybe it will still do it automatically if I go over there and draw that virtual boundary once the map gets that far. So we'll see how this turns out. Sitting here watching Tara, interesting thing just happened. It was coming up towards me, and there's a hill here where a tree used to be, and there's a hole, and the front tire just dropped down in this hole, and I thought it was going to get stuck, but it backed up and just turned around. It made it out this time. That was interesting. So now it's kind of off one row. I wonder if it will go back and get that row eventually. It also missed one row over here, so I'll let y'all know if it doesn't go back and get those rows. See if it makes it through this hole again. Kind of turned towards it. Yeah, it made it through. Hey, I just wanted to pop in here and show you the app. Remember I told you it missed those 2 rows? Well, you can see that it knows it missed those 2 rows. So it's definitely gonna go back and get them in just a second. Okay, it just was about right here, but then it decided to go back and get this thing that it missed. Let's see if it gets stuck in this hole. It made it through.
Uh-oh. It made it out. And it went back in it. I guess it wants to play in this hole. Alright, it got back on the line it wanted to get on. Huh, wonder where it's going now. I wonder if it's going to go work around the tree. Gets right up to the edge without going over. There is a setting that you can turn on that it will overlap slightly on flat surfaces, but I don't have it turned on. Tara has decided this dirt area here it doesn't want to mow, which is fine. There's no grass there, so it turns around and without going completely under there. Okay, whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen in the next swipe. So I'm going to pause it, and then we're going to join you in the app for a screen recording. Actually, I want to see if it'll go on the other side of this. You think it's going to drop in that hole? I don't think it can see it. Uh-oh. Can it get out? I think it's stuck. So we're gonna help it. That was a pretty big hole there. So we're gonna put it back over here on my property, and I'm gonna join you in the app. So here we are. Let's see what this is. Lift it off ground. Let's clear that. So let's view the map. You can see where we are over here. It still thinks it's where it got stuck. So let me let it locate itself here.
Task resumed. Start the blade disc. Task paused.
So now it knows where it's at. That was fast. What I'm going to do is we're going to draw a virtual boundary. How do I move it over there? Okay, so I've now drawn a virtual wall, and I'm going to save that. So let's go back, and y'all see where this is. I'm going to go back and tell it to resume and see what it does.
Task resumed. Start the blade disc.
So it's looking right at that shrub. You remember that shrub? Maybe I can show y'all. It won't be a very high quality picture, but you can see. So it's on the other side of that shrub. What's it gonna do? It is now mowing the edge like it's supposed to. It does seem like this virtual boundary is going to keep it out of my neighbor's yard like it's supposed to. It just remembered, hey, I didn't want to drive in that dirt. It backed up and went around it. Now it's getting real close to that boundary there. The only thing is, since this is a spot mow, I can't save this map. It just said task completed, returning to start position. what should be over there in the far corner of my lawn. So it should be gonna just drive right over here and then stop. And there it is.
Editor Crazy Postman back with you again. So there was no real ending to this video because it was not meant to be one whole video. This was actually 2 or 3 different things put together. I ended up kind of just showing you how the no-go zones worked in this video. I thought I was going to show you how to make a new zone, but that didn't happen. So at least we saw how the no-go zones worked in this video, and I'll leave you here with a clip of me putting together the no-go zone fence so you can kind of see how it goes together. It comes in one just big roll, and you just unravel however much you need and cut it to the size you need, and then you clip these spikes onto it and then fasten them in. So that's a pretty good setup, and remember, that's not a permanent thing. It just has to be out there for the first mapping, and then you can remove it. So thanks for watching this thrown together video of me experimenting with Terramow. I will see y'all in the next one.